What's up, Nick? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, Nick? Freeze up. I'm on. All right. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing, testing.
All right, there you are.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was saying that for a minute.
All right, got it. Yeah, man, I was tripping for a minute.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and invite some more people.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get started in a few seconds.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, you can add as many people as you can, bro. Especially the 7 you said that was interested. So,
Yeah, for sure. I got one client right now that's almost ready for funding. He just started,
okay,
so most definitely he gonna have to get with you.
no problem.
For sure. All right, man. What's going on, Damon? What's going on, Kenny? Let's go ahead and jump into it, man.
No, no problem.
What's going on, guys? My name is Nick, CEO and founder of Rival Consultants. Today I have my mentor, Cedric J. Butler. The guys who's helped me, in the business credit, aspect. Go ahead and tell them about yourself, Cedric. How long you doing business credit, and really just about yourself, your credentials, etc.
Okay, no problem. How you doing, guys? My name is Cedric Butler. Um, Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Have a background in accounting. That's what I got my degree in. Worked for corporate America as an accountant for 18 years. Opened up my company, New Eric Success, LLC, back in 2016. Jumped into business credit at that time when I was looking for funding for my company. Ran across a gentleman who was in business, and he told me a little bit about it. And from there, I just learned a lot about doing business credit and just trying to help others over the last couple of years on building business credit for their business.
Gotcha, gotcha. Can you go ahead and tell me, some of the basics of, business credit? You know, where does the average Joe need to start? Somebody who's never heard of it, brand new. Where should they start?
So the first thing, if they haven't done so, they need to go ahead and think of a business name and register that business with the state, whatever state they're in. They need to go ahead and register their business. Now, a little key point I like to throw out there when you create your business name is try to keep it as simple as possible. And what I mean by that is create a name where if somebody said it to you, they wouldn't know what industry you're in. So I try to tell people to keep it as simple and generic as possible. So that's the first step, and register the name and get it approved. Once you do that, you can go ahead and get your EIN number. That's a free number that you can get from the IRS website. So irs.gov, go ahead and get your EIN number. It takes about 5 to 15 minutes to get that. You can print that out right after you get done leaving their site. So be ready to have access to a computer to get that printed out so you can have it on file so you can get a hard copy for yourself. And the third thing I like to tell people is get your DUNS number for your business. So a DUNS number is a free number also that you get from a company called Dun & Bradstreet. They are a business reporting agency on the credit side. So when you do business with vendors, that's who your payments and your profile is set up through Dun & Bradstreet. So those are the three things I tell people they need to get started when structuring their company and to start to build business credit.
Gotcha, gotcha. What are some of the business compliant aspects? You say get your LLC, get your EIN, get all that stuff, Dun and Bradstreet number. What about a website, phone number? Are those important as well?
Oh, yes, those are very important. Website is very important nowadays. A lot of creditors want to look at your website. Doesn't have to be nothing fancy, just something simple, stating or telling about your business. Um, what's also important is in your business. So let's say you registered, if you're using your home address and you register that with the state, you want to have that same address when you open up your bank account, when you get listed, when you do things like that. If you're not using your home address and you have a business address, you just want to make sure that address is tied across the board. You don't want to have 2 and 3 addresses out there, and PO boxes are red flags. So don't use a PO box. Don't use none of these post office addresses, anything like that, because those are red flags. Vendors now Google map the address that you give them, so they can see that you're using the UPS store or the postal service and things of that nature. Also, I touched on this earlier,
You
is
know,
professional email. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
no, I was saying, back to the address, would an address like, Regis, where would that be, okay?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Virtual addresses is okay. Those are standalone buildings. Looks like an office building, so those are fine. But most people get it caught up because UPS likes to give out the physical address of the location, and people think that's okay, and it's not okay. So, like I said, they can just pull up your information through Google Maps, and they see that's the UPS store. So they will deny you for credit, or they will make you pay for like 4 or 5 purchases before they actually set up a business account for you.
Gotcha, gotcha. We talked about the business compliance stuff. We talked about Dun and Bradstreet. What are, a couple more, business credit reporting agencies?
So 2 more is Experian and Equifax. Those are the other 2 when most vendors report to. But most vendors right now report to Experian and Dun and Bradstreet. So those are mainly the two that when you start building up a good business profile for your business, those are mainly two vendors are usually going to report to, are those two.
Gotcha. We have all that stuff. We got our LLC, EIN. We're business compliant. What do we need to do next? What are some of the accounts that we can apply for?
So the next thing you want to do is start applying for credit. Two companies I always throw out there is Uline and Quill. You can always set those accounts up. Those creditors will give you credit for your business, even though you don't have no business credit established yet. But those companies will get you started, so you can start establishing that business credit profile and start making payments, and start making purchases, to start building up your credit for your business.
Gotcha. So, some of the tiers, we just with the, net 30s, how far up can we go in terms of tiers?
You can go up to tier 3. Um, I have it where you can go up to tier 4, because there's a couple of credit cards that you can get no PG. Um, Once you establish 10 accounts reporting to your Dun& Bradstreet profile, most of the time when you have 10 plus accounts reporting to your Dun & Bradstreet, now you get into the credit card or cash card level, um, where you can start getting credit cards for your business.
Gotcha. And how long would that process take from net 30 vendors to actually cash credit cards?
The whole process takes, if the person is the business owner staying consistent, takes about 6 to 9 months to build out. And that would be a
Gotcha.
minimum of $50,000 in business credit that I can help somebody build out.
Gotcha. Gotcha. You know, in terms of, what lenders look for, we have all that, they got with you, build their business credit up, and, they're ready to get, funding for whatever business they may have, whether it be real estate, Amazon store, just even a cleaning service, what are some of the things that underwriters look for?
So most underwriters are looking for revenue, and or income, or combined. That's one thing they're looking for. They're looking for if you establish business credit, and most lenders are going to take a sneak peek at your personal credit. So for all those who are working with Nick and got those 680 or better, 700 credit scores, make sure you keep that up to par. So just in case a lender wants to take a sneak peek to make sure you're still credit worthy on the personal side, you can't. They can't do so. I like to let people know, and I stated this earlier to Nick, and we always discuss this. Anybody that you bank with right now, currently, go to your banker and ask them, what would it take for me to establish or to get $100,000 line of credit or funding? What do they need to see? I tell people this because we open our accounts with these banks, and most of these banks don't help small business owners. So, before you open these accounts up, you want to make sure your bank account, you want to make sure that they do help small business owners, because if you're running all this money through there and you can't get the proper lending from them, there's other banks that can help you out and
Right.
get you funding for your business.
Gotcha. For example, let's say we have a business that's already making money. They're making on average about 6 figures a year. You know, would it make sense for that business to keep that money flowing in and out, or just have a little bit on the side in like a savings account or a business checking, um, or just empty out the whole bank account? What would you suggest in terms of that banking relationship?
So the first thing what I tell people is, all right, so if you're making good money, most banks ain't going to tell you this, but if you keep 10,000 plus in a bank or higher, your account starts to earn tiers. So there's tier levels in the banking system that they won't tell you about. So if you can keep 10,000 minimum or average balance in a bank, your account just it starts to it has a tier level to what you keep in there, how much you keep in there, things of that nature. So if you keeping 10 plus in there or higher, they'll extend credit to you quicker than if somebody kept the balance a little bit lower. So the first thing I would tell people is make sure you keep a good amount of money in your business checking account. Secondly, I would tell them to start investing that money that they don't have to keep in it. Move that money to other places where you can make more money. Because the object of the game is to use other people's money to make money for yourself or for your business. So the first thing I would tell people
Right.
to do is you have to keep a
Exactly.
certain amount in these banks so they know that, okay, this business is making revenue, because you don't want to pull all your money out and put it on the personal side or start spreading it out. You want to keep a certain amount in there so they can see that on an average of a couple of months.
Exactly. Another thing, that I tell, a few of my clients on the personal side, you get denied for a credit card, go ahead, open up a savings account, with some of the banks that got denied. Because a little something that I do, myself, I have multiple business accounts for a particular business. It
Right.
may not be a checking account, but it is a savings account. I might
Cool.
take a little bit of money on the side and I put it, in a savings account, just let it accumulate, because eventually, that could be a potential trade line as well.
Right. Right. And or you can start looking into, opening up CDs and things of that nature. Um, so you can also have an asset. I like to tell people, if you open up like one of these annuities or things of that nature, that's an asset to where you can use to leverage to get money. So there's different ways and different
Exactly.
things that people can do to leverage their money to get more money. So it's a couple of, things out there that people can do to grow their money.
Gotcha, gotcha. This is like a real, simple process to do. Is it duplicatable for different businesses, or is it just that one particular business I can build business credit and I can't build anymore?
Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat the question, Nick.
No, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
what I was saying was, let's say I have multiple businesses. Can I build business credit for all of them, or am I just stuck at that one business?
Oh no, you can build business credit for all of them. All of them. All of them are different LLCs that have different EIN numbers. They're gonna have different DUNS numbers. So you can build business credit for each business that you open up. As long as it's a DBA, LLC, or corporation, you can build business credit.
Awesome, awesome. You know, let's say we have a business making money. They come to you say, hey, look, Cedric, I got money in my checking account. I have bank statements. I have tax information. They already got what you they've been put it up. How much money could you potentially get that person?
It all depends on how everything is looking. So if they bring in the right amount of money and business credit, and their personal credit is up to par, and they got the leverage, um, they're looking at a good amount of money. They can easily get six figures plus, depending on what they're looking for. The project, things of that nature. As like I always tell people, if you can show that you have the money to get this loan and able to pay it back, sky's the limit for you.
Gotcha, gotcha. You know, for example, let's say somebody's in a startup. How much money could you potentially get that person? I know you said $50,000. And building up the different tiers and the cash cards. Could you get them six figures as well?
For a startup, if they have good income, a lot of people don't touch startups unless they at least have 1 year of 1 year in business. Um, so for a startup, they got to be making good money in order to get to that six figure. But that's going to be income and revenue based. So that's going to be a little different for a startup. But if they have good money that first year,
Mhm.
they could definitely get about six figures if they have good money. Most startups don't have that type of revenue generating just yet, so it just takes them a while. But I mean, they can build the business credit up within that year. But as far as that revenue factor, that's going to be the tricky part. It depends on how much revenue they have made in that year in order to try to get six figures. that first loan.
Gotcha, gotcha. Let's say if somebody say, Cedric, I don't feel like doing all that. I'm gonna go buy a shelf corp, and have somebody add, some business trade lines on there. What do you say about something like that?
98%, 90, shelf corps starting to fizzle out a little bit. I would tell people personally, build business credit up for yourself, because these are actual trade lines that's for your company. It's a more sufficient and organic way. It works. You're actually building credit, so you can go to these creditors and buy your supplies and pay it back within 30 days or 60 days or whatever the terms are. I just tell people take the more organic approach. You don't want to be dealing with things like a shelf corp and things of that nature and build it up, because you're spending a lot of money when you build up a shelf corp. It's not nothing that's like, it's not it's a cost to building up a shelf corp. Whereas if you build it up organically
Exactly.
for your own business, you know what you're spending and how much you're spending, and then it's yours.
Exactly.
So you can use these trade lines
Right.
when you need to. So I would just tell people do it
And
the
then
organic
also,
way.
exactly. Also a lot of things with for people don't tell these people when they buying shelf corps is your business is only as old as the business bank account.
Right. Exactly. And
That
they don't know
that
what they
is
get when they get their shelf corps either. They don't know exactly what they get.
right.
Because and
Exactly.
a
Exactly.
little thing I like to say is, people get these shelf corps and they see an 80 paydex score. Well, 80 paydex score could be 2 trade lines.
Right.
So those 2 trade
It could be
lines can
one
be
is it
very
could be only
small.
one thing.
Huh?
Exactly. Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
following you, they could, have their own shell corp. They say, all right, I got this one business right here. Later on I might need some more money. Start, 4 more businesses, just have it sitting, and get a
Exactly.
get a a 0%, fee, a free checking account for your business, and just have it sitting there. You know what I
That's
mean?
it.
And still have,
Hmm.
100% paydexes, across the board.
All right. Exactly. Exactly. So a lot of people just, because I had a young lady who came to me about a shelf corp, and I asked her what's in that shelf corp. She had no clue, but she was like, it has a paydex score of 80, and I'm like, but that could be 2 accounts. Those could be small
Right.
accounts. Those are not, they can't, you got to know what you're getting when you're getting a shelf corp. If you don't know what's in that shelf corp, just build it out for your own company, and don't worry about the shelf corp.
Exactly. And then two, they trying to find ways to get over. You could have took that 2 grand and you would already be getting cash cards by now. You know,
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's just on the lower end with a shelf corp. That's just 2 grand. It's shelf corps. That's a lot more than that. I've known people to pay 8,000 or 6,000 for shelf corps and couldn't do anything with them. So you out for, and this was a doctor. He out $14,000 and couldn't do nothing with it. So it's like, you know
right?
nothing you could do, but just sit on
You
them.
know, exactly. And that makes a
Yeah.
difference. A lot of people that go buy these shell corps and get on Credit Suite. What really separates you is the fact that the personal aspect.
Right.
You boots on the ground. You do this day in and day out, so you know what's going on. You know the
Correct.
underwriting requirements for funding.
Right. Right.
And then
Right. And
and
that's the
then
first thing they
what
ask.
else you can't do with the software? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then another thing, for the software, you can't go back and fix prior mistakes like you had to do with me. We had to
Correct.
get on the phone. You on the phone for about what, an hour and a half. Pretty
Right.
much going through, you know, pretty much fixing my mistakes. You know what I
Correct.
mean?
Correct.
And you can't get that. You
Correct.
can't get that from the software. Yeah,
No, exactly. Won't get that from the software. Exactly. So that's why I tell people, no knock to how people do their stuff, but I just do it, one-on-one consult. I could give them different, factors, different situations come up for different people, so they want to know different things. So I just show them different things that I've learned over the years when I made my company a test dummy and was able to build business credit. So I knew once I knew the do's and the don'ts, then I started applying them and letting other people know, okay, let's do this. All right, don't do that yet. Do this first. So it's a process to it. You know what I mean? It's strategic. So everything is strategic. If you trust the process, everything will work out. Everything will definitely work out.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and wrap up, brother. Go ahead and tell them, your name and, your website, where they can find you.
Okay. Well, let's see if there's any questions out there. Anybody have any questions? They can post in the comments.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Lynn?
But definitely, my name is Cedric Butler. If you have any questions or comments, you want to know more information, you can reach me by email, C Butler, Butler, C Butler at new era success success.net. The name of my website is www.new success success.net.
Gotcha. Seems like we don't have any more questions. We can go ahead and wrap it up. If you want to
Okay,
get in contact with Cedric, I'll post, your information in the description. If you have any more additional questions, they'll be in the comments. You can go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and post it on YouTube, share it on my personal page, etc.
sounds like a
Just go
plan.
from there.
All right, sounds
Appreciate your
good.
time, brother.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. I'll
All
talk to you
right, have a
later.
good one. Cool.
You too.